The sky was burning. The clouds red with twisted fire. Lightning moving across them. And they descended upon everything. Like a furious battle between God and Satan, good and evil. Like a fire vortex.
Well, I guess you already know it's the corn dog. I'm excited about these two matchups, Maz. How are you feeling about it? Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with that. Oh, you're muted, Maz. Maz has no words.
My microphone was muted. Thank you for pointing that out. I thought I missed something. Alright, anyways. What is up, everyone? I was blabbering for nothing. Anyways, got a good one, corn dog. And, I, the only Bazaar, screwed up, but we're able to bounce back. We're doing it live. We have 5 minutes until the first match. KC Cauldron versus Steel Army. Emerald City RC versus the locals. Corn dog. Now you can answer the question. How do you see these matches going? Because honestly, I don't know how to call them.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a little bit of a soft spot for KC Cauldron here. They were last season's champions. I do think Steel Army is going to give them a run for a money. If I had to put $1 on it right now, I'm going to give it 3-1 to KC Cauldron. Match 2, I have a little bit of inside baseball. This could potentially be the first game that Emerald City plays without Smashley FC starting. He is currently an emergency sub in another league, and there might be a full team rotation. This will also be the first time ECRC plays without 3 players playing the whole series. So that should be interesting. I'm guessing game 5 for ECRC and the locals.
Wait, what do you mean by without 3 players playing the whole series, to be exact?
Just the same 3 players playing the whole series.
Oh, that's what you mean by Oh, okay, yeah, because they are rotating. Yeah, okay, I see. That should be interesting.
Yeah,
so this will be the first time we'll be seeing Spanky tonight, which will be pretty cool.
Yes, and Spanky, I hope he's excited for it. Spanky's a really good player, and I'm just curious about the chemistry of ECRC on this one. But specifically, the team lineup should be different for all game 3s is the game plan, but they told me they are absolutely willing to make changes on the fly. If what they have is working, they might stick with it.
That's good to know. So we have about 3 minutes to kick off the first match. Cornog, how about you give us your insight into that and the way you see that match going? Now, before you get started, the only reason I said I couldn't call this is because in week 2, KC Cauldron got convincingly beaten by the Rebellion. And no one saw that coming. So honestly, after that happened, I mean, Steel Army's not a bad side, folks. Don't get me wrong. You know, like, they're a good team. But, you know, KC Cauldron on paper is so better. But I just don't know how this match will go. So, Corndog, what are your thoughts?
So, from my perspective, I see KC Cauldron having a little bit of jitters, maybe a little bit of we haven't played so much since last season. Rebellion also being the wild card, they didn't play last season. They were featured a few times, they played in a couple of tournaments, but they're not a team that KC Cauldron's familiar with. So it's not super surprising to me that there was an upset result if you were to write it down on paper. However, KC Cauldron is a crazy team. Do you know how different is their lineup from last season?
They're only missing one player, KC Cauldron.
Okay.
That's Cheeky. Now, Cheeky was supposed to be registered, but he just didn't get registered on time. So, we're not seeing him for now, but we will see him when the roster update window comes up in the middle of the season. With that said, they still have a very good team there. They still have Thorngold, Serrano, Yef, you know, and Smitty, as well as Funch, who's been getting better and better. So honestly, it's just a big surprise that they couldn't get the win in the win last week. So we'll see how they go this week against Steel Army.
Yeah, that, and I'd like to add in, Steel Army has the potential to beat any team in this league if they're on. From what I remember from last season, Steel Army's biggest problem is consistency. And so if they can get that locked down, maybe put in a little bit more practice time, I could see Steel Army being a big threat on the league table.
And there's still a lot of time for them to bounce back. So on that note, I'd like us to do a quick preview, take a quick look at the league table before we get started with the first with these matches. So let's transition into that real quick, folks, and give you an idea of what we have at the league standings at this time. So as of now, we have the locals, Black Army, and ECRC all with no losses. They've won all of their games. And then Los Verdes have 8 points as well, but they only won 1 match. The good thing for them is, despite winning 1 match, they have 8 points because they won 2 games in their other 2 matches. And that helps with,
Yes.
keeping at pace with the top of the leaderboard. And then following them is Timber's Army with 6 points, KC Cauldron with 5, Rebellion with 5, El Matador and EC Blue with 4, and then Steel Army with 2, and then EC Defiance with 1. Now, EC Defiance got their first win of the season. First win as in the first game win of the season against Timber's Army. And Timber's Army winning their first match of the season are now back in contention for the top 6. With that said, folks, after this stream, after the matches tonight, I would not be surprised if there's going to be a big shakeup. I could see KC Cauldron going to the top of the table for the time being. I can also see Emerald City RC continuing the winning streak and going up. And I can also see Steel Army getting back into contention in the top 6 if they can get a surprise win. Corndog, what are your thoughts on this league table as it stands?
So from how I saw it, the locals in Emerald City are in a temporary battle for first place. Obviously, Black Army hasn't played their 3rd match yet, but if Emerald City wins this, they should be above the locals, and if locals win this, they should firm up their first place spot. You said something about KC moving up. Did I miss something on that?
I was just saying if they won their match, they'd be at the top of the table until ECRC plays.
Oh, okay. Okay. Also temporarily, it's looking like the first match of this week. I'm not super up on the scheduling. Sorry about that.
No, it's the second match of the week. We already had it 2 days ago.
Okay, yeah, I see EC Defiance. I was there for that game. That was a good
EC
game.
Blue versus Los Verdes.
Los Verdes. Oh, I said Defiance, didn't I?
Hey, it's all good. Folks, we are ready to go now. Both sets of players are in. We are just about ready to start. And before we do, let me just set up a prediction real quick so that you guys can predict on who will win this first match.
Hey, if you didn't catch the last stream, I recommend opening that in a new tab and saving it for when this is over. A beautiful series between EC Blue and Los Verdes. Absolutely worth checking out. Trying not to give away any spoilers there, but I highly recommend watching that one.
I mean, this league table does kind of spoil the result. Don't get me wrong, but
Wow,
it is still worth watching. Anyways, we are just about ready to go, folks. We'll give a minute for you guys to put your predictions in for KC Cauldron versus the Steel Army, and then we will jump right into the match. Gordog, how do you see this match going?
So like I said, it's been about consistency for Steel Army. They're a very powerful team. They just can't seem to connect the dots all the time. It's between passes to players, it's shots not hitting on net. But if they can get it all together, I wouldn't be surprised to see this go the distance. However, that being said, KC Cauldron, solid team all around, and I'm gonna go ahead and give 3-1 Cauldron.
Yeah, I think they're really gonna bounce back here, folks. They seem to have more players coming in, and we might see a proper full-strength KC Cauldron as well, so Steel Army better get ready. I think Steel Army can still get one game in, but I would not be surprised if KC Cauldron sweeps this. 3-0 KC Cauldron for me.
I did just get word it will be confirmed. Smashley will not be here for game 1 at least for the ECRC matchup. So it could be a full player rotation for their setup. It could just be, let's roll with Spanky. It depends on how it's going.
Interesting. Well, we'll see how they can do in game 1, because if they have a good thing going, they may as well stick with it. But again, that's their team's call. If they want to rotate, bring Smashy back in, then that's cool with them.
Yeah, and I did also get the confirmation that it will be up to Toad and Gojo to decide how they feel about it at game time.
Sounds good. But folks, we are now ready to go for the first match. And both teams should be joining in very soon. And Cornog, this is very interesting. We finally get to see Serrano appear for KC Cauldron. He has been missing for the first 2 weeks, but he is back in week 3 for KC Cauldron. And here we go, game 1 between KC Cauldron and Steel Army.
Serrano is a very highly technical player. Hopefully we'll get to see that shown off here as he immediately passes. Knew Thoringold was there and tried to hit him with it. What an early start there for KC Cauldron, establishing dominance as my favorite raccoon poop is on the field. I gotta shout him out.
Yeah, it looks like pretty much full strength teams for both sides. They're all going for it. They want to get that big game 1 win. They're not trying to play it safe. Blitz with a missed shot. I thought he was going to go on target, but he went high and wide right there.
Yeah, and it's definitely going to be a back and forth here. It's going to be a matter of who's going to get the first point, who's going to establish that lead, get the pressure on early. We're only a minute in, and it feels like we played 2 minutes. This is high-octane Rocket League.
And the pace is only going to get faster from here, folks, with a shot from Smitty into the opposite side. 1-0 to KC Cauldron with only 55 seconds played.
Yeah, it absolutely did not take long. KC Cauldron, obviously the early aggressors here, but it did not count out the counterattacks coming back from Steel Army there. You gotta just not leave that door open. If you're gonna take the shot, you gotta make sure somebody's back to stop it.
Let's give credit to KC Cauldron as well. That was a beautiful pass from Thoringold. And now Smitty returns the favor to Thoringold with a nice air dribble from the right wall, bringing it forward, beating 2 off of that carry. And Thoringold with the easy tap in, 2-0.
Yeah, nicely played pressure there from the face-off. Forced Steel Army, and that's that communication I was talking about. When they're on, and when they're off, they're off. That should have been handled differently. Obviously, I'm on the outside looking in here, but Steel Army let that one happen, in my opinion.
You know, I was thinking that KC Cauldron would have lost that aura that they had in week 2 after that loss to the Rebellion. And what a convincing loss that was too. But they're bringing it back, and Steel Army look intimidated already. After that initial good chance from Bear Blitz, they just haven't been able to get going.
Yeah, KC Cauldron's looking really warmed up. They're looking really oiled for how early we are into this game. We are just now 2 minutes in. 2 goals up, KC Cauldron. A backflip from Bear Blitz there. It looks like Steel Army might be a little frazzled here in game 1. You're gonna need to find a way to shake that off. I like to pretend it's 0-0 and play as hard as normal. It just feels like Steel Army, there's a demo from Bear Blitz. That might open something up. Raisin Boy walks it down midfield, but Serrano can't be stopped.
And this is much better from Steel Army right now. That demo did help give him some momentum, but now they have to drop back and restart their attack. Ball to Serrano, who misses the shot. Debit has time to control now. And really, when they get on the ball, they need to keep control and win their 50s. And right now, it's as simple as they're not winning their challenges, and KC Cauldron are able to take some control.
Yeah, and it feels panicky. I feel like this is game 1 jitters from Steel Army. KC Cauldron, great of them to take that early control. They look smooth. They look like they're just practicing out there, and you can definitely feel the panic coming from Steel Army. So it's going to be a matter of who can calm down and who can stay calm, respectively.
But we can still see that there are a few little bits of flaws in KC Cauldron's game. It's up to Steel Army to exploit them. Great pass from Bear Blitz, but Raisin Boy cannot get a shot. And Steel Army are kind of on the back foot as their players a boost star for the most part. Nice pressure here from Debit. This is a good spell for them, Corn Dog. They just need to make sure they can create a good shot right now.
Yeah, Debit has definitely been a connecting glue-like factor for Steel Army here. He just went for a demo there. It was dodged. But putting that pressure on, making them think about it can be big. So, I mean, come on. Connect the dots, people. Connect the dots.
And so far, Steel Army have held firm, but the wall, the yellow wall, has finally been broken. And it's Thoringold yet again, potentially putting a dagger to game 1.
Yeah, Raisin Boy got back to home, but he was on the ground. Nicely shot up high from a tough angle from Thoringold there. We'll put it up 3-1. It's looking a little out of reach. Start playing for the spirit goal. Start resetting for game 2, Steel Army.
And what's interesting is every time Steel Army need to recover, they drop all the way back and they give Cauldron all that time on the ball. And that is just suicidal at this moment in time, folks, because KC Cauldron are making the most of their time on the ball. A little mistake right there, but KC Cauldron once again regained control from the back line. And Thorgal is just bringing this out from the back with ease. And he's by himself too, and he's able to bring it all the way out to the midfield. Now Smitty and Serrano combined. Build up an attack right there. Steel Army are just not able to get out. And KC Cauldron are they're just enjoying their time out there, aren't they?
Oh my goodness, that was a smart lead from Raisin Boy. It gets walked all the way down the field, but no love from it. You know, in the first minute, I was seeing Steel Army retaliate the pressure, retaliate the counterattack, and then it's just been all KC Cauldron from then on.
It really has been in the grand scheme of things. But Cornog, when you see that great opening for Steel Army, a misplaced pass from Thorgal towards Bearblitz, who had an open net, but he's just not ready for the shot. You know, it's those little things that can hurt Cauldron and help Steel Army, and hopefully they can regain in game 2 and start punishing KC Cauldron for those little errors. But at this time, KC Cauldron are back to their dominant best as the clock ticks down to 0 eventually. And here we go. KC Cauldron take a convincing game 1.
Yeah, no doubt about it. KC Cauldron was in control from the beginning to the end. Good fight at the beginning for Steel Army, but once they got scored on, once that bleeding started, you could sense the panic. Devitt tried to hold it together. Bearblitz and Razor Boy not doing anything wrong, but it just seemed like everybody was frantic. Everybody was trying to be everywhere instead of counting on their teammates, playing the play as they needed to play it. And Steel, like I said, I've said it before, I'm going to say it one more time. When Steel Army is functioning together as a team, they are a great team.
Absolutely. And sometimes for them to function, Corn Dog, they do need to potentially make a sub. And we've seen them do this in the past where they've made a sub and come out way better afterwards. So we'll see if they take that route here once again. Or maybe they'll just stick with what they have. Who knows?
I wouldn't be surprised to see them stick with the same one. Game 1 jitters, not really something you want to mix up. If this is your top 3, stick with your top 3. If it's not working in game 2, maybe bring in a sub. But hey, I'm a sideline coach. I am not a player, and I respect them.
Now, Luis has said something quite interesting in the chat. If Serrano is bottom scoreboard and they're winning, it's Jover. You know what? I'm not surprised. When Serrano is at the bottom of the scoreboard, it typically means it's playing a supporting role and his teammates are thriving. That spells big trouble for Steel Army.
Yeah, and when you mentioned KC Cauldron sort of leaving themselves open, it felt like once they got that 2-goal lead, they were just trying to connect with each other. They weren't trying to overpressure. They weren't trying to leave the goal open. They were just trying to get the ball from A to B. And Serrano is good in every position. You can put him on the back line. You can put him in the front, and he's going to make stuff happen.
Indeed, but right now it's Steel Army that are making things happen, Corn Dog. It's at a good moment right there, but they just weren't able to capitalize. Bearblitz advanced the ball on the left wing. Once again, though, Steel Army are doing way better at bringing the ball out from the back. Razor Boy booms it up to Bearblitz, who tries to shoot it in towards the net. Smitty gets it out. Now double tap potential from Devin, but he's not able to get the second touch. Good defending from Cauldron, and for the first time, we're seeing KC Cauldron get tested right here.
Yeah, it's good to see that pressure. We saw it in the early part of game 1 here, and it's good to see it happening again. Bearblitz bounces it past the defenders. That was a dangerous ball.
This is way better Rocket League from Steel Army. Bearblitz is the conductor right now, advancing the ball up. But Corn Dog, just like that, Cauldron are bringing the pressure up again. They can just attack in an instant and make you worry. And that's what you need to be careful of.
Yeah, Steel Army not to be messed with. Looks like they had no problem shaking off those jitters as Raccoon Poop scores the first goal of game 2.
And KC Cauldron have left themselves open. Smitty tried to feint, and he handbraked too hard, and he stood still, putting himself in a dangerous position. And Razor Boy gets the lead for Steel Army. 1-0 in game 2.
Yeah, well played there. I feel like KC Cauldron with that 3-0 win had a little bit too much confidence. They had too much faith that the back man had it. Maybe somebody stayed forward. I can't confirm that as Serrano with a nasty shot from midcourt.
And he just missed right there, too. You would have thought that ball would be spinning into the back of the net, but it did not have enough curve. Great effort, though, from Casey Cauldron. And once again, Steel Army getting back into this. Razor Boy off the backboard. Blitz going up for an instant challenge. That's what you're supposed to do against Steel Army if you don't want to give him much time. Serrano misses his double tap, but Casey Cauldron is still keeping the pressure up. However, they're just struggling to get the boost, unlike in Game 1, and that's allowing Steel Army to come up and put some more pressure on their opponents.
Absolutely entertaining Game 2 as Thorngold finds the crossbar and the back of the net.
And this time, it is Steel Army's turn to face the pressure Devin thought he had the time, but then he got challenged instantly by Serrano. Thorngold with a pinpoint shot off of the crossbar. And that equalizer comes in at a perfect time, just as Casey Cauldron was starting to up the ante. And with that equalizer, I'm not surprised that Casey Cauldron could step it up and get their game going as well.
Yeah, I can almost feel and taste the rage from Casey Cauldron. Now, rage is probably not the right word, but the pressure definitely qualifies. Thorngold finds it again with a 1-2-3.
And this time, Serrano once again does not get a shot on target, but a shot becomes a really useful pass for Thorngold, who had the job of putting it into the back of the net without any pressure. And just like that, folks, Casey Cauldron take the lead. That's how good of a team they are.
Yeah, we need to see how shaken Steel Army is. They've been in a good power position here. They have given up 2, but they were putting that pressure on. They were making Casey Cauldron work as Devin does a nice little flick to get it deep, but Smitty's there to keep it out. It looks like Casey, I would say, has slowed down, and they're trying to be more possessive and less aggressive.
A little bit of an awkward moment right there from Casey Cauldron, but you're definitely right, Cornog. They did try slowing it down, but now they're bringing the pace back up. Smitty's already up in the midfield with Thorngold going for bumps. That is the sort of confidence they need to play with in order to keep the Steel Army team on the back foot. The last thing you want to do is invite Steel Army forward, because they will punish. Couple of whiffs right there. Devin tries to go for an instant shot. Serrano puts it away. Devin through to the middle. Razor Boy with a really awkward moment. He cannot get a shot off. And now Devin faces the wrath of Thorngold as he gets demoed for his troubles. This time it's Bear Blitz going up with no boost. He doesn't get the corner boost though, which is a questionable choice. Maybe it popped up a bit too late for him. And now Steel Army need to get back. Razor Boy with 0 boost recovers.
Yeah, smart play on the defense there from Raisin Boy, but the pressure isn't over as that bounce shot almost goes in. Thorngold's on fire, Game 2.
And Serrano gets the 3rd goal for Casey Cauldron. Once again, a really good effort from Thorngold. Impressive save, and Smitty does the smartest thing right there. Instead of trying to hit it off the backboard or towards the net, he passes it back to Serrano, who gets his 1st goal of the season right here. 3-1 to Casey Cauldron.
Casey Cauldron looking incredibly fluid. This is the Casey Cauldron that I remember from last season. Good, clean passes, awkward moments to get past the defenders, and then completing their chances as Devitt walks one almost full court to bring it back within 1.
And that's the complacency and the sloppiness that will hurt them. There was a terrible double commit in the Casey Cauldron side between Smitty and Serrano, both going for the goal. And they leave their net open for Steel Army to get 1 goal back with less than a minute to go, folks. Don't count Steel Army out.
Yeah, Steel Army definitely not rolling over as Serrano just misses now with that post. And a good block there from Smitty keeps that forward. And once again, we're seeing Steel Army just getting pressured. And Casey Cauldron can keep that up until somebody's not where they're supposed to be. Oh, Raisin Boy with a little chip ball into the forward motion.
And he does the most with 0 boost right there, folks. That's what you need to do. You got to do a little bit of a fake just to throw the opponents off, and Raisin Boy did well right there. But right now, the clock is against them. The ball's in the wrong spot of the field. Casey Cauldron need to bounce this down, and Steel Army are unable to keep this game going. Casey Cauldron escaped with a win in Game 2.
We saw a lot better fight out of Steel Army there, a lot more control, a lot more thought out aggression, I would say. But you know what I didn't ever see that whole game? I never saw the ball go past Serrano. Serrano is absolutely all over the ball anytime he needs to be. Only one save from KC Cauldron, only 2 saves from Steel Army, and that's 10 shots for KC Cauldron and 5 shots for Steel Army. So a lot of balls off target in the scoring system that Rocket League chooses to have.
And game 1, Serrano was at the bottom of the scoreboard. Now he's at the top. And that's the thing. You're right, Corn Dog. When Serrano is defending, it's tough to get past him. But when he's not, KC Cauldron are kind of looking vulnerable at the back. So let's see if Steel Army can get one win at the very least right here. No substitutions from either side. They're both going with the same 3.
And Devitt tried it a little bit in game 1, tried it a little bit in game 2. I always call for this as a commentator. If you've heard me, you know. I would love to see some physical play come out. And I'm going to go ahead and call it, you got to target Serrano. I haven't seen the ball go past him yet as Devitt walks this one down. Only one to beat and an early lead for Steel Army.
What an incredible play by Devitt right there. Beat Serrano. A rare beat by Devitt against Serrano, and then he had Thorngold to face. He had the ball on the roof of his car, dribbled it to perfection, and Steel Army take the lead yet again.
Kind of feels a little bit like a curse of the commentator. I hate to say that, but Serrano did just get walked past, but Devitt with the patience to make that work. A nice stop from Thorngold to keep Devitt from going, and they take it right back with Serrano.
And this time it's Serrano's turn for some individual Rocket League play. Good bump and shielding by Thorngold. Serrano had one player to beat in Bear Blitz, and he dusts him and puts the ball into the back of the net. Folks, KC Cauldron and Steel Army are back in, they're tied up once again, but KC Cauldron off of the kickoff get an instant goal, and they're already in the lead.
I catch a lot of flack for this, but this is why I don't leave the net on faceoffs. I stay right there for this exact reason. Once in a while, it squirts by, and once in a while, it's on net, and I don't take those kinds of risks. But at this point, I like Steel Army's aggression. Pushing up forward and going for that corner boost is the right play in my decision. You gotta find a way to get it past them, and aggression's gonna be really the only way.
Ooh, it looked like there was a nice passing play right there for Steel Army, but Razor Boy was just out of position, and now Smitty is leading the counterattack. Thorngold locked it up to the backboard. Really nice control by Devitt. Razor Boy to the opposite side. That net is open for Bear Blitz. Locked it up off the backboard. Razor Boy into the back of the net. And folks, we are tied 2-2 with only a minute played.
Beautiful touch from Bear Blitz here. Doesn't try to force the goal early. Instead, knows Raisin Boy is trailing, pops it up gently, freezes the defender, and it's a tie game. Well earned from Steel Army. You can't say Steel Army aren't the underdogs, but you also can't say that they're not putting up a fight.
Absolutely. This is a great effort from Steel Army right here. And after they slowed down in game 2, they're ramping up the pressure and the pace in game 3. They're challenging this KC Cauldron side more. They're dribbling it out of the back more. That's how you win games in Rocket League, folks, to keep the ball close to you for as long as you can, and you have a better chance of beating your opponents. Razor Boy bumping it away from Serrano, but Smitty to Thorngold. Thorngold off the backboard. Serrano! And he gets the goal right there with a beautiful 1-2-3 play all the way from the back.
Yeah, well executed KC Cauldron. Steel Army was ready, and they just dribbled it through them. The players knew where it was going, and they were waiting for it. Well played, KC Cauldron, to take the lead back. Plenty of game left to go here, but it is still do or die for Steel Army.
And I thought that net was open, but Bear Blitz got back. Net is still open, though Smitty just not able to put it on target. Cordog, I do want to say this. Both teams are really going for goal right here. No one's worried about sitting back. And not only are we getting an entertaining game, but we're starting to see the best of both sides right now. And I would not be surprised if this game goes into overtime.
Yeah, I'm ready for it. I'm all for it. We have 3 shots to 3 shots. No saves for either team as Raisin Boy makes it 4 shots to 3 shots and ties it up. Just under 3 to go.
I'm sorry. That was an incredibly fortuitous pinch. Thorngold's dominance was used as a tool by Raisin Boy to force that ball into the back of the net. That arc was insane, and nobody was ready for that. And that is how we get the 6th goal of this game. We're not even at halftime yet, folks.
Yeah, Raisin Boy doesn't have 50s. He has 60-40s, and he just full court scored there. Fortuitous for sure, but Serrano, holy cow! Thorngold picking up a playmaker. Serrano picking up a hat trick with this goal.
And yet again, it's the same play. Smitty kicking it off from a deeper area. Off to Thorngold on the side, who passes it into the middle to Serrano, who gets it to the back of the net. Steel Army at the moment have no answer to that. We'll see if Casey Cauldron keep that up.
Yeah, interesting turn of events here. Once again, Casey Cauldron looking well-oiled and Steel Army looking scrappy. Casey Cauldron's getting that ball forward. They're 1-2-3 in it. Look at Thorngold wait on the wall for that. But Steel Army is fighting tooth and nail to get that ball forward, get it into the back of the net. They're making some smart plays when they have the chances. Bear Bliss pops that one up. I thought it was going to get over.
And I like the way Steel Army are playing right now. They're leaving one up to help initiate the attacks. And Cauldron are respecting that and sitting back. And that is a good strategy from Steel Army. They just need to take advantage of their situations, which have already done a good bit. This time Bear Blitz is back, though. Challenging Serrano. Thorngold whiffs. Raisin Boy gets a ghost touch. Now Devitt off to the left side. To the middle. Bear Blitz lofting it up. This net is open. Smith's trying to recover, and he gets it out to the side. But the pressure's not over yet, folks.
Oh!
Just get away with it, Cordog, but how long can it last for? Oh, man.
That is definitely the scrappiness I was just talking about. Coming in, claws out, just trying to bully that ball forward, bully it back center as Serrano with a rare miss, and it's cleared out by Raisin Boy.
You know, after all the goals we've seen from Serrano, it's surprising to see him miss that. But maybe the nerves are probably playing a part on both sides. We might see a bit more sloppiness. This is the chance for Casey Cauldron to sweep Steel Army and bounce back after the disappointing game, week 2 loss. Shot into the net. This might be the nail in the coffin, folks. Serrano restores the 2-goal lead for Casey Cauldron.
Yeah, when I'm, personal experience here, when I'm down 1 with less than a minute to go, I like to pull the goalie, go for all out aggression. I'd rather lose by 2 than lose by 1 when there's a minute left.
The thing with Rocket League, though, Core Dog, is in such a small amount of time, you can easily get a goal back. And that's why you should not leave your net open. Serrano, once again, with an incredible goal. And surely that's game, set, and match.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to come back. 3 goals in 43 seconds isn't common. You're going to basically need to flip the script on what just happened and get at least 1 face-off goal here in the next couple seconds. And I could see a Steel Army doing it. They've been fighting hard. They haven't rolled over and died by any means as Bear Blitz tries a cheeky pass to Raisin Boy, but it's shut down.
The clock is against Steel Army right now. You need to get that ball into the back of the net. You need to get that ball moving faster. These locked-in passes and loose balls are in the favor of Casey Cauldron, but they're not going to time waste. They're just going to get yet another goal and kill any little bit of spirit remaining in Steel Army. 7-3 to Casey Cauldron.
And if you would have looked at this scoreboard literally 35 seconds ago, you would have seen a 3-3 tie. But now, a 7-3 blowout as Casey Cauldron turned on the juice. I think Steel Army might have been overextending a little bit here, but rightfully so. I'd rather lose by 2 than lose by 1.
Well, I don't know about losing by 4, though, Core Dog. That
I mean, at this point, you got to throw the kitchen sink at him, man. You're down 2
Understandable.
games. Casey Cauldron takes the sweep.
And after a disappointing week 2, Casey Cauldron have come back, all guns blazing, folks. They have gotten a convincing win right here against Steel Army. As much as Steel Army tried to get at least 1 game, at the end of the day, Casey Cauldron with Serrano, Thorngold, and Smitty were just unstoppable.
Serrano claiming 5 goals there in that final game 3. And like we mentioned, maybe 1 or 2 balls ever got behind Serrano. Even sometimes when he was forward, It didn't seem like you were able to get it past him. He's highly technical. He's highly skilled. And I feel like he was not the key, but I feel like he was definitely an important cog in that wheel.
Oh, absolutely. And this is a big result for KC Cauldron right here. Now they're back in contention for the top spot, and that higher seed is going to mean they could go to the next round of the playoffs without having to play in the preliminary phase, and also have a better shot at winning the whole thing with the opportunity, with the fact that it's a double elimination tournament. Now, for Steel Army, they tried, they huffed and they puffed. They put in a great effort, don't get me wrong. But at the end of the day, as they ramped up the pace just defensively, they were a bit too sloppy. And they kind of respected the KC Cauldron a bit too much. And I say this despite the good effort in Game 3. But when KC Cauldron got their passing game going, Steel Army just had no answer. They had no way to stop the passes. They had no way to see where the next pass was going to be played. They just weren't ready for it.
Yeah, and it wasn't a surprise result, except for the fact that Steel Army, minus a couple of huge mistakes, could have at least taken a game. I did call KC Cauldron 3, Steel Army 1 before the stream, or before the game started. But Steel Army, man, if they could have found a way to connect their dots, if they could have found a way to stay cohesive as a team, they left a lot of open nets. They left a lot of 50 balls without someone to back it up. And I think that was the big difference maker. Obviously, KC Cauldron, a well-oiled, highly technical machine, and they know each other well. They're able to play very well together. So mad props to KC Cauldron there. But man, I would have liked to have seen Steel Army take a game out of that.
I absolutely agree. But we got to move on now, Corn Dog, because we are just into the next match slot. Emerald City RC versus the locals. We don't have much time to build it up. Sorry we can't get the interviews at this time with KC Cauldron and Steel Army. We might see if we can get it in at the very end of the stream. But for now, Corn Dog, how do you see Emerald City RC versus the locals going?
I mean, we are officially seeing a roster change up. It'll be the first time that Smashley has not played for ECRC since they started playing for SGL. So I'm excited to see Spanky come in. Toad Death and Gojo are absolutely solid, and Spanky is a multi-tool. I've had the pleasure of playing with Spanky a lot here recently in different Discords, just hanging out, and he's absolutely a dad. He's absolutely a teacher, and so if he can work with Gojo and Toad, I'm going to see a Toad Gojo offense hard here. Now, that being said, locals, before we started this stream, at the top of the leaderboard, and that's not without merit. They didn't wander in and find themselves there. They earned it. So I think a well-oiled locals that's ready to go is going to put ECRC down game 1. I'm expecting game 5 out of this setup.
Yeah, I would not be surprised. I just want to highlight the locals a bit more here because they have been incredible this season. You know, their best three, as most people would expect, would be K-Doughboy, Raid, and Meki Ducky. But this time, Raid has not been readily available because he's had other commitments in life, namely school, because school's back. So we've seen Dr. Aquatic come in, and Dr. Aquatic has been terrific as their second player. And I would not be surprised to see him play, with K-Doughboy and Meki Ducky. Right now, we are still waiting for Emerald City RC to come in. But in all honesty, whatever three the locals put out, they're going to be a really tough test. And on that note, that's what makes it tough for me to call. Because Emerald City RC are getting better and better. And they're going to bring Spanky. And Spanky is a very good player, for sure. So, we'll see how it goes for Emerald City RC. But I am going to make this prediction. I think it will go to Game 5. And I think the locals will get the win over Emerald City RC. That's how good I think the locals have been this season.
I definitely got to stick with the home team. Smashley showing up here. I was about to point out, locals do have all 4 of their members, Kato, Meki Ducky, now known apparently as Monkey Ducky, Raid, and Dr. Aquatic, all 4 in the lobby here for the locals. And we got Smashley, Spanky, Toad, and Gojo in for Emerald City. So we're gonna see. Maybe there's been a last-minute change.
We shall see who the trio is for both sides, folks, as both teams have their full-strength team, and we are just about ready to go. for game one. And we're seeing Raid, K Doughboy, Toad Death, Spanky. Who are the thirds for both of these teams? We shall see as the screen changes in a bit. Gojo for Emerald City RC. And for the locals, it is Becky Ducky. Here we go. Game one. Starting off with a bang as the ball goes towards the other end. And we'll see which side takes the initiative right here.
And, you know, I wouldn't be surprised to see the fourth man in playing more of a coach role, trying to give an outside observer perspective, you know, potentially even listening to the stream as far as I know, and trying to adjust gameplay on the fly as this is important. Toad Death receives from Spanky early. Spanky, that multi-tool I called out earlier. Nice ball in. Only one man back. Beautiful shot from Toad.
Now, I don't know what Meki Ducky was doing right there. He seemed to be the only man back. And instead of trying to protect the net, he was going for boost, thinking he could be fast enough. And he got punished for that decision. Maybe there was a lack of communication going on. Oh. And unfortunately for the locals, Emerald City RC get a second instantly. Spanky already with 2 assists. Beautiful pass from him right here, Cauldron.
And again, Spanky the multi-tool feeding Toad and Gojo. He is more than happy to sit back and feed, especially when it pays off. You know, I wouldn't be surprised to see him do some on his own as Toad receives. Oh man, almost 3-0. Gojo cleans it up! And it's a runaway train, 40 seconds in.
And the first thing we're seeing right here is Meki Ducky is getting isolated at the back. He's having to deal with way too much at this time. Good pressure from Emerald City RC. When they get that ball forward, they get 2 up. And the locals are just not able to get back and recover quickly enough. And they're in big trouble right now. They need to get a goal instantly just to get the momentum back on their side. But right now, it's all Emerald City RC.
Devitt calling out he should not be a monkey. Good old Meki Ducky, now known as Monkey Ducky, and a floater from deep! 4-0, 1 minute in. Spanky takes that one and says, hello, thank you, sir.
And unfortunately for the locals, they are just getting punished at every instant. Meki Ducky tried to bring the ball forward, relieve the pressure. Spanky, though, with a shot on net. And the locals just weren't able to make a save right there. And once again, we are not even getting a chance to reflect on the last goal because, folks, we've only had 1 minute played, and Emerald City RC are 5-0 up.
You know, at 3-0, I held the scoreboard to check the ping, and Gojo has the worst ping. So it doesn't feel like that's a on-hand excuse. Not that there's an excuse to be had, but man, does ECRC look hot here early. Oh, I thought that was going
like
to get
they were
dunked by
pumped up
Raid.
for this. Doughboy and Co need to step right up. They need to account for their mistakes, but it's just not happening for the locals. There was one shot from one end, and Toad Death brings it out almost instantly. Beautiful pass into the midfield. Raid is not able to get there on time. Gojo puts it into the back of the net. 6-0. And we've only had 1 minute and 23 seconds played. Just incredible.
Yeah, and Ducky made a decision to try to keep the third man back in the net, but ECRC happy to switch to 2v2. There's a response, finally! Great play there as Raid feeds that one up and then out. Ducky collects and tips it over Toad.
What's even more impressive about that core dog is that Raid played that pass with 0 boost. I thought with Gojo having stolen his boost, he would have been discouraged, but he didn't look phased right there. He was able to play that pass out to Ducky. Ducky gets 1 goal in. Better late than never, I say. There's still time.
Emerald City was 6 goals on 6 shots. Gojo collecting 4 of those goals and 3 of those shots as Monkey Ducky once again able to find the back of the net and start swinging it. Toad and Gojo coming together there, looking a little sloppy.
All right. Okay, let me just say this. Devin in chat said, what is happening? Now he's saying they woke up. I'm going to ask the same question Devin asked earlier. What is going on right now? Because all of a sudden, when the locals got that first goal, Emerald City RC let a second in it once again. They looked a bit too passive, and now the locals are coming back up. A little sloppy, but Emerald City RC are respecting them and just sitting back. And that's going to be a bit troublesome. Unless Emerald City RC get a goal right here. Rain with a big save.
I feel like there was a cockiness there. I mean, when you go up 6-0 in the first 2 minutes, it's kind of hard not to get cocky, but they paid for it twice. And like you said, they're sitting back a little bit now. They have the lead. They need to play the clock. They need to take their time and keep possession.
But that doesn't matter right now. McDuffie with a shot. Flips it over his opponent and puts it in the back of the net with that Batmobile. That is a Batmobile special, folks, as he paddles that ball into the back of the net. Toad Death with 0 boost has no answer. And it is a 3-goal deficit now, and we are only just approaching halftime.
I think Monkey Ducky's taking this one a little too personally here. He went down 6-0, and he has single-handedly, with assists, put them back on the map with 3 goals.
Potential double commit. Although Gojo is sitting back and looking kind of comfortable. It's Doughboy's turn. Meki Ducky resist in the middle. Fix it. And it's 4-6 to the locals. Folks, it's a 2-goal deficit. They're starting to come back.
Somebody bring Monkey Ducky a fan and some water, because he is clawing back from this 6-0 deficit. It is now 2 goals just past halftime.
Now, for those of you who've seen RLCS Worlds, that goal from Meki Ducky reminded me of someone who scored a goal like that, kind of faking it. I think it was Lost of Furia. But let's pause on that thought. Toad Death gets a 3-goal deficit back. A little bit of sloppiness from the locals, and they get punished.
This is a goddamn shooting gallery if I've ever seen one. I think we're gonna need to investigate into what's that word? Oh man, point shaving. There we go.
Would not surprise me in the slightest if there's some shenanigans going on, because this game has just been absolutely bananas. And I never expected 11 freaking goals with about 2 minutes left to play. But here we are, folks. And now it seems like ECRC is finally getting back some control. Locals are looking a little boost-starved right now. We'll see if they can get out and establish their game once again. But ECRC are just not giving them any time. There's always someone on the ball. And Toad Death puts it into the back of the net from the near post. 8-4. And just like that, folks, one nice 50 from Gojo results in Toad Death getting that time and space to get that ball into the back of the net.
Yeah, with that goal, Toad Death does claim his hat trick. Need to remind you, there have been 3 hat tricks in this game. Gojo, Toad Death, and Ducky all have 3 goals. Gojo and Monkey Ducky with 4.
And it's not over yet, folks. The goals are still flowing in. Oh, Raid gets dusted yet again. And now it's K Doughboy who needs to recover. Mikey Ducky gets bumped away as he demos Gojo. Spanky coming through, leaves the ball for Gojo, but Meki Ducky's advancing for a 50. Ball's in the middle. Raid's going up for a shot, and now Doughboy needs to collect that ball, but he misses and forces Meki Ducky to get back into it. 1 touch, 2, but that second touch goes away into the corner. And honestly, I think this might be over for the locals Cornog unless they get a couple of quick-fire goals yet again.
I mean, 4 goals is hard to come back from in a minute, and we're almost down to 30 seconds, and that's going to make it even harder when it's 5-goal lead. Wow.
I don't know what to say, folks. We have had 13 goals in this game. 13 goals. 9 from Emerald City RC, 4 from the locals.
It's 11 shots to 8 right now, with Emerald City only having a 3-shot lead. And there have been 2 saves in the whole game. 3 now.
Just absolutely incredible for a game 1. I don't think anyone saw this coming. And the goals are still flowing in. Who needs defense when you've got offense? Goals are what entertain people. And by God, if you are not entertained, then this is probably not the game for you.
Man, this is about as exciting as Rocket League gets. Who needs defense when you both have offense? 4 goals in 20 seconds, kind of a tall order, but we have set the tone for this series.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if game 2 has very few goals. Because, oh my God, I don't think both teams want to play this way ever again. Just giving up goal after goal. Gojo stepping up big. Spanky trying to play a pass. Gojo does not get a demo. And folks, I think this is it. We can finally breathe as Emerald City RC wins game 1, 9-5.
And that's a good point. 2 minutes in, it was 6-0 Emerald City. The final 3 minutes is 5-3 locals. Locals outscoring 5-3 in the final 3 minutes there. Interesting way to go with it, as we had 10 shots for the locals and 11 shots for ECRC. The locals definitely got their footing and started pushing back.
Well, it is very clear to say right here, Corn Dog, that with Raid coming in, there was a lot more disruption and chaos on the locals' end than they wanted. But as the match got going, he grew into the game only a little bit. I still think there's a lot to come from his game, but he might need to be slowly brought into this matchup. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets subbed off for Dr. Aquatic.
I wouldn't be surprised to see both teams take a sub here. However, if I'm ECRC, I like what Spanky did in the first few minutes. We didn't shout his name out too much towards the end of the game, but Spanky was there. That's a good way to put it. So I'm excited to see which players are chosen to continue on here. ECRC lead the series 1-0.
Folks, both teams are coming in, and we do actually see a sub for the locals. Dr. Aquatic comes in and takes Raid's place. I'd say that's a good choice. We'll see if it works out here in Forbidden Temple as the clock starts to tick down very soon. And here we go, kickoff game 2. Doughboy beats his opponent, steals the boost. Dr. Aquatic with his skyline, misses the first touch, eventually gets one, and now he needs to recover.
Yeah, Dr. Aquatic with that early miss, potentially coming in cold here. We don't know how much he's warmed up, but it's game 1 for Dr. Aquatic. And man, the locals are on it right now.
Can I just say, I thought Emerald City RC should have had a goal right there, given the finishing of game 1. But Meki Ducky, nonetheless, made a great save off of the goal. And he's coming back, trying to take over once again. Big shot, and Spanky puts it into the corner with an incredible shot near the ceiling. Great
Almost
placement right there, Corn Dog.
Yeah, almost at the ceiling and tucks it upper 90. Spanky is a machine when he wants to be.
He's absolutely showing it right here, folks. This is dangerous for the locals. They got to make sure this game doesn't get out of their control yet again. They need to keep close to the ball. They need to win the 50s. And this is one way to do it. Meki Ducky with a demo. But that ball is not into the net. Oh my goodness. I thought it was going in. I think Meki Ducky thought so as well. But that ball curved right out.
And we're starting to see ECRC get a little bit out of position here. Locals have a chance to do what they want to do, as apparent right here. Spanky with the whiff. Toe Death not ready for it. Tie game.
Oh my goodness. Gojo couldn't get the second touch. That's fine. He had 2 at the back. Doughboy didn't get a powerful shot, but that miss from Spanky put Toe Death in a tough situation. He was not ready for that. And Doughboy gets the equalizer for the locals. This is way better for them. And let's see if this can get their confidence going.
Yeah, I absolutely feel like the locals are warmed up. They're ready to play. Aquatic has found his spot. And ECRC looking a little scrambly now. Not looking as confident, not looking as cohesive. They're just hitting banker balls downfield. And there's always somebody back from the locals to shut it down, and then they take it away.
And right now, it's all square performance-wise from both sides. The locals have grown into this. They're challenging the ball. They're able to bring it forward. Dr. Aquatic has been a huge help in that sense. Way more reliable defensively and is way better at getting the ball out of the back line. Meki Ducky looks way more comfortable too. The familiarity is helping them for sure right now. But this is a good spell of pressure from ECRC. They just need to respect the locals a bit more, and they absolutely are. And that's going to help the locals as they build up this attack right here.
Yeah, I feel like you're giving them too much room to breathe if you're ECRC. We haven't seen a lot of blue to blue. It's been blue downfield to orange right there. What a block from Dr. Aquatic.
And he is making it matter. He's making his presence matter. He is making it count. That's a huge save right there. And it's those little things that'll give the locals that confidence to get going. Dr. Aquatic gets the time to build up. Gets bumped away for his trouble, and now it's Gojo's turn with 0 boost to bring it forward, but Meki Ducky gets the loose ball. Let's see if he can advance it forward. Now it's Doughboy on the left, but Spanky beats him to that ball. Toad Death tries to pass it into the middle. Aquatic, though, is in position to prevent a third touch from an ECRC player. Meki Ducky challenges it against Gojo. Meki Ducky gets it back, plays it to Spanky. It's a good bit of pressure from ECRC. They just need to capitalize on this. Toad Death playing a loose pass into the middle and no one is there, but Gojo still has a chance to do something with it. The touches just aren't there, though, at the end, folks. ECRC are kind of just looking a little, phased right now, and the locals are looking more confident defensively. But never count out ECRC. They have the potential to play a beautiful attack. Get that 1-2-3 going. Get one demo going. That will help them. And with about 90 seconds to go, Core Dog, which way do you think this match will go?
Right now, I'm seeing the locals in control, and I'm seeing ECRC maybe riding that high off of last game a little too much, and they're just, I said it twice already, they're not connecting blue to blue as they do right there, and it's off the wall. But Toad Death cleans it up. The first blue to blue I've seen in almost 2, maybe 3 minutes as Spanky downfield forward playing Shaquille O'Neal. Toad Death just beats Kato to it. Kato thought he had time, but no, Toad Death says, excuse me.
I don't know about that from the game. It looked kind of weird because it looked like KJ kind of got a touch, but that just may have been my point of view. I will say this, though. That was a bit of a mistake from Kato boy, KJ. He could have gone to the ball first and just hit it away to the side, but he chose not to do that, chose to see if he could control it. And Toad Death said, no, I'm not respecting that. I'll make sure you get no time. And sometimes that's all it takes. You just got to put some pressure and test the opposition. Make sure they don't feel like they have any time to respond.
I feel like the locals is still playing their same game, and it's working as Aquatic barely misses the shot. But what's a bad shot? Normally it's a good pass. Gojo not able to get up. Spanky handcuffed to the floor. Ducky there to put it away. Tie game with 30 seconds to go. I'm going to change my prediction to overtime and a coin toss.
It's probably a wise prediction at this point. Folks, we have 4 goals instead of, what was it, 12 or 13?
9 and 4, 13.
Yeah, and it's been as tight, it's been as nerve-wracking for both teams, and it's been as entertaining as you'd expect. This really is turning out to be an incredible match, incredible show of quality. Meki Ducky's open! Meki Ducky gets the lead for the locals! And this is the first lead in the whole match, folks, with 8 seconds to go.
Incredible patience from Ducky there. Gojo right on his tail. He takes his time, chips it over the last defender, and is an open net to walk in.
And that is why that Batmobile is so dangerous, because it is deceptive to the eye. You think that your opponent is not there, and then all of a sudden he beats you with a flick. The locals are back in it, folks. 1-1 in this match.
Impressive gameplay from the locals there. Confident, smooth, controlled, not able to force something, not able to be forced, just got it through the holes. ECRC looking scrambly there. Beautiful goal early from Spanky. It just showed on the background replay for me here on the scoreboard. But again, 2 goals from Monkey Ducky, putting those in the back of the net. Also 4 saves for Monkey Ducky, 3 saves for the rest of the players total. So can't rule him out. Aquatic got his feet, got in there. Kato boy making it work. Got unlucky a couple of times, but ended up paying off with a goal. Man, this has been a great series.
I will say this, Corn Dog, that Aquatic substitution has been huge. He has given Ducky the platform to play his own game, and the whole team is looking way better for it. I would not be surprised if they stick with this trio. We shall see if Emerald City RC decides to make a sub, but for the locals, they have their best trio out there for sure.
Yeah, I gotta imagine there's a lot of conversation going on with ECRC here. Is it worth it to switch it up? I think stay with the same 3 lineup you had and just try to tighten it up. Gojo the first to join. Aquatic will be playing again. Raid benched for game 3 here. And Smashley will tap in for Spanky.
Spanky, despite his great performances, is going to see the bench for now, and ECRC go back to their familiar weeks 1 and 2 teams with Smashley coming back in. Let's see how this affects the result. I will say this, for now, this will mean that ECRC will play way more aggressively. They'll go challenge the ball a whole lot more. They'll play at a faster tempo. So far, though, they're on the back foot. The locals are just not able to capitalize on this. K Doughboy missing a shot, but the pressure still ongoing. Meki Ducky dribbling it off the backboard, does not get a strong enough touch, and Toad Death sees it out of danger, and now Gojo is there for the counterattack. Plays it into the middle for Smashley. Smashley though with a shot off target. Toad Death is coming up now. He's looking for a double tap off the backboard. Now Smashley trying to go for a double tap. They both miss, and now the locals have a chance to get back into it.
Yeah, that's the ECRC that you're used to seeing, where sometimes all 3 of them do go forward, especially bullies down the field. They're opening up a lane. It gets cleared out by locals. Gojo immediately responds. Nice stop for Monkey Ducky to slow it down.
But despite those bumps, this locals team looks focused. They look unfazed, and now they're bringing the ball forward. Meki Ducky tries to go for a shot, doesn't get it. Doughboy has a chance now. Plays it into the middle. Square to Aquatic. Aquatic takes the shot, and Gojo makes a big save. And now let's see how ECRC responds. A little bit of sloppiness, though. I don't think they're ready for Gojo to play a pass back like that. Probably expecting something different. But ECRC are still able to bring it forward, Corn Dog. Do you think that substitution's kind of playing a part at this moment, or do you think they're looking better for it?
I mean, a substitution's always going to make a difference, and I think this one is definitely doing so. We'll see if it settles down, but right now what I'm seeing is the locals putting the ball into awkward spots, and ECRC not able to deal with it per se, but locals also not able to capitalize as Toad Death and Gojo find themselves in the same spot, getting a little awkward.
Dr. Aquatic had enough boost right there with the shot, but he's just not able to get the placement going. Meki Ducky, though, plays a pass out. It's not over yet. The pressure's ongoing. ECRC need to collect themselves. Gojo with 60 boost. Let's see if he can do something right here. Gets 50 on Doughboy, but the ball goes wide. And now Toad Death gets beaten by Aquatic. Aquatic, the ever reliable and ever dependable, plays it into the middle. Double commit, putting the locals in trouble. They need to get back quickly because ECRC's in position already. This might be a first goal, but Meki Ducky gets back just in time. Not over yet, though, and Toad Death takes the lead for ECRC in Game 3.
In those last few 30 seconds there, we saw 2 huge blue-to-blue plays. The first one, Smashley got beat on the back wall, but it opened up the hole. Gojo still on the wall, knocked it back down. Toad Death able to collect, and as we just pass halftime, ECRC takes the lead. Not a 9-4 game, but good gravy. Has it been a good one as Monkey takes it himself to tie it up just a few seconds later.
And folks, just like that, Meki Ducky is showing us why he should be considered the best SGL player for this season. Brings it out from the right side, gets a good bounce, reads that corner bounce. ECRT are just not ready for that, and he taps it into the back of the net for the equalizer. His Batmobile is telling. He is bringing back the Cookshare energy that we have not seen in such a long time, folks. The Batmobile is coming back, and it's all thanks to Meki Ducky.
Yeah, you can't argue that for sure. Good patience from Toad Death to force that ball to the wall, but the pressure is still on. Great rotation from the locals here, keeping it in. Gojo battles it back out, but again, great rotation. Locals are hungry.
And they're keeping this pressure going pretty well. ECRC need to get out of the net. They start engaging because they do have the boost for it. Nice first touch, but the challenge from Dr. Aquatic only goes back to Smashley, who clears it off finally, and we'll see what they can do with this. Not much, though, unfortunately, for ECRC. Corn Dog, it's the locals who are putting more of the pressure overall in this Game 3.
Yeah, they absolutely have the control. The only goal we saw scored from ECRC was some good blue-to-blue connection as they're trying to set that up again. But the locals overall have the possession. They have the pressure. They have this game in the last minute tied up. There's the lose, in my opinion.
We're starting to see a few more bumps coming in from ECRC against the locals. And that's what they need right now to unsettle this local side, because right now they're playing with full confidence. Really good pass from Toad to Death, but he's just not able to get that shot on target. You'd think the locals would get clued up to that, but right now ECRC are thriving off of those passes from the side into the middle.
Yeah, and they're hard to judge. If you play the wall, it's going to the middle, that's going to be a bad time. If you play the middle and they go to the wall, that's going to be a bad time, and a missed opportunity there for the locals. Not able to connect that goal into the net. It was open.
Yeah, and there was just one too many shots off target, but the pressure's not over yet. Mecky Ducky, though, gets beaten. And yeah, that's the thing, like, you need to make your shots count when you have good opportunities like that. And so that plays a bad pass. Oh my goodness! Could this be going in? It is!
And
What
we
did you
just
just
saw
witness?
three ECRC players all screaming back to the net. An own goal from Toad Death from full court. He had to play the 50 though in his defense. Wow, what a changer. Locals looking to go up 2-1 if they can hold on for 10 seconds.
Oh my goodness, and just like that, the kickoff goes in their favor. With 5 seconds to go, this ball is up in the air. ECRC need to make this count. The ball's still up in the air. It's not over yet. Toad Death brings it out to the other end, but he's just not able to get back to the ball. And the locals take a 2-1 lead in this match.
What an insane turn of events there. ECRC going for the win, left themselves open, but in all fairness, how do you predict a 50 ball lasering back at the net like that? Absolutely incredible play from both teams there. Monkey Ducky taking both of the goals for the locals there on 4 shots. 1 save from Aquatic, 2 saves from Doughboy. Toad taking the only ECRC goal with 2 saves. 1 save apiece from Gojo and Smashley. You know, we're just not seeing that ECRC connectivity that we're used to seeing.
Yeah, and it's all thanks to the foundation within the locals, Dr. Aquatic and K Doughboy. They have given Mecky Ducky the platform to be able to play his game, and now ECRC are paying way more attention to Mecky Ducky, which means that Dr. Aquatic and K Doughboy can contribute a lot more. With that said, though, Corn Dog, that game 3 was just super tight, and it was because of an incredibly fortuitous own goal that, you know, ECRC were able to lose that. Otherwise, that would have gone into overtime.
I mean, and that's the risk you take with the overextension. We'll have to see if there's a substitution made on either side here. If I'm the locals, I'm not changing.
Except, no, sorry. Yeah, you're right. They haven't changed. ECRC, though, has changed. They made a sub. Spanky in for Smashley. Maybe to get some more control on the ball this time. Here we go. Game 4 at Utopia Coliseum. The locals have 2 match points. And ECRC need to win this to get us into Champions Field. We'll see if they can get a fast start right here.
Yeah, nothing would make me happier than seeing a game 5. But did they ice the Spanky with that last game, him sitting out? Dr. Aquatic found his footing real quick for the locals. Can Spanky revitalize what they had going? And, you know, it's a different dynamic when you have 3 people that are offensive and you switch back to someone that's, you know, multi-tool. And I would say Spanky likes to play defense as we see him sitting here. Is it going to shift the fishbowl the right way? Or are the locals just going to continue the strength they've been showing here since game 2?
Yeah, and it's tough to call how this match will go, Corn Dog, at any point, because each game has had its own dynamics. It's had its own storyline in a way, you know? With tons of goals in game 1, a few more goals, but a way closer game in game 2, and a really tight affair in game 3, determined by one little fortuitous bit of luck for the locals. This game 4, can go any which way. We might just see a 0-0 overtime. We might see a 3-3 overtime. We might see a game winner for either side. Honestly, I don't know how to call it.
Yeah, and from the first minute and a half here, it is looking chaotic for both teams. Neither team really able to take possession and hold control as Cato floats that one over. Aquatic with an opportunity.
I really like that from Aquatic, though. He wanted to play it past the Doughboy, who just wasn't ready for it. And now Meki Ducky tries to solo it into the net. Doughboy off the left wing. Meki Ducky cannot get to it. Aquatic, though. Oh, no, he gets a sloppy touch. This could be Emerald City RC's chance. Pass it to the middle, but Doughboy's already back. He's able to clear this out.
Yeah, good effort from Toad to try to bully the Kato off the ball there. Would have really opened it up. But still, just seeing chaos from both teams as Gojo misses the redirect.
And that's the thing. Right now, there's just been a ton of misses. And Meki Ducky just misses the back of the net. Given how he's been playing, you'd have expected that to go in. But I think the nerves are starting to play a role.
Yeah, you can't argue with that. It has been misses both ways. It's been opportunities both ways. So as we pass halftime 0-0, which I wouldn't have expected that after game one, we're just going to have to see which team's going to take control of the ball.
It's just incredible to see the turnaround right here. Like, I saw a message from Devin in Twitch chat where he says, oh, hold the thought, though. Toad Death with an instant goal, and Emerald City RC take the lead.
Absolutely clinical there. Toad Death expecting that ball from Spanky. Spanky passed it. Wouldn't be surprised to hear that in the comms.
Yeah, that was a beautiful pass out by Spanky. That is what he is so good at, and that's what makes Emerald City RC play so better. Those quick passes out from the back that Toad Death, I'm sure, just really enjoys. And no wonder they brought him back in. They look so much better for it for that.
Yeah, definitely won't argue that point. But again, neither team taking possession since the kickoff here. Both of them just hammering it down, and the ball's alternating. Orange, blue, orange, blue. You gotta go blue, blue. You gotta go orange, orange if you want to connect.
Either that or keep the ball close to you, Cordog, and draw that 50 out, as Meki Ducky's trying to do right now. With 5 boosts, he cannot complete that dribble, though. He needs to concede possession. Doughboy now plays it out of the side. Aquatic stays back, clears it out, and gives his teammates a chance to get some boost. Meki Ducky now wins the ball in the midfield. Bump attempt by Aquatic, just not able to capitalize on it. And right now, the locals are going into this game, but they're just not able to create a good opportunity. And that's thanks to the presence of Spanky and the defense. He's just in the right place at the right time all the time. And that gives his teammates the confidence to go out and challenge.
Yeah, Spanky's very good at filling the holes from what I've heard. I haven't talked to my mom in a while, but that's what she told me. Oh my god, I thought Gojo was going to just dunk that.
Meki Ducky misses that dribble right there. A lot of sloppiness right now. Oh my goodness, how did they get away with that? But not for too long. Doughboy gets the equalizer. Moment of chaos for ECRC, and they get punished for it.
Yeah, the desperation save from Gojo absolutely required, but Moses parted the seas there, and that was a basic training pack goal. The nerves might have made it more difficult, but holy cow, locals tying it up with 30 seconds to go. You can't beat that.
Honestly, I just don't know which way this game will go. We're just seeing, both sides get punished for the mistakes. We're seeing both sides bring the ball out well. We're seeing Dr. Aquatic win a 50 against Gojo. He has a chance to play to the middle. Spanky and Toad Death combine their efforts to get the ball out. Meki, oh my goodness, that ball is loose. Meki, though, is not able to get back. Flick up. One more open net.
Oh no!
Oh my goodness, it's Atomic all over again. How do you miss that?
Pornitis is a serious disease. It is very easy to do, but a wide open net to take the series. We're going to overtime. This is do or die for ECRC.
Oh man, I'm getting flashbacks to freaking Atomic and RLCS now. Yeah, hate to see it, folks. Aquatic had the game winner right there, and now we are in overtime. The locals still have a chance to win this whole match, but now they need to work through the defense all over again. Meki Ducky doing such a good job. Aquatic, though, needs to bail out. 1-on-1, go Death, and go Boy.
Oh!
Big 50, but Becky Ducky is back.
And let's not count out that last second chance was sponsored by Monkey Ducky there. If he hadn't done all of that work, we wouldn't even be talking about it. Absolutely battled that ball forward. He's continuing to do it now.
Ooh, Monkey Ducky looking for that Mina shot right there, that little bounce shot that O'Connell made famous. He didn't get the power, but Dr. Aquatic did. Game, set, and match. And folks, after a drubbing in game 1, the locals have come back to win this match 3-1.
Aquatic with absolute redemption with that overtime goal. Well fought by the locals, absolutely deserved. Emerald City not able to find their footing. They started the series off so hard, and just the locals got in it and got ready to go, and it just completely shifted in their favor. What a series. 3-1 locals.
Just absolutely wild, folks. Put your thoughts into the game, into the Twitch chat. I need to catch a breather right now because that was just an insane match. You know, I didn't think it would get this good after the reverse sweep between Emerald City Blue and Los Verdes, but oh my goodness, we've had an absolute banger of a match. Oh my goodness, just incredible. I know the scoreline says 3-1, folks, in the match, but after seeing game 1, you would never expected that comeback. That is just absolutely insane.
Woo! I'm freaking. I had an adrenaline dump in that series there, man. I tell you, I feel like I just ran a mile.
Luis in Twitch chat saying, Dr. Aquatic getting that winner after blowing the open net is justice, Keck. You know, after all we've seen last weekend, it feels good to see Dr. Aquatic make up for that because, oh my goodness, he would have been hurt if they had to go to game 5 after that miss before overtime. The
Yeah, and
sorry, go ahead, Cauldron.
no, sorry, just Monkey Ducky absolutely leading the charge, but not at all solo playing the game. It was absolutely Dr. Aquatic and oh my god, I just forgot who the other guy's name is. Anyway, the locals was not a one-man team there. They were fluid, they were aggressive, and they got a little shaken up there in game 4, but they were able to battle it out. So super impressed with the locals there. Good effort from ECRC, but once again, the last 2 games, it was a back and forth hammer ball fest. Neither team was taking the possession, and locals seemed to thrive in that environment.
Absolutely. And folks, we're going to jump straight into an interview real short because this interviewee does not have much time. We're going to give him time right now to speak. So please welcome Spanky of Emerald City RC. Yes, it's a bit of a surprise that the losing team gets to go first, but Spanky does not have much time. Spanky, welcome on board. How you doing?
Doing all right. Thanks for having me.
So Spanky, to kick things
go ahead.
off, after that insane game 1, what happened?
Oh, you know, they settled in. We settled in. They brought in Aquatic, which changes up the team a little bit. And then, you know, first game is a little exciting. Everybody's going and you kind of, you know, flop around a little bit. And then I think everybody figured out their roles and smoothed things out. There's a lot more flow on both sides.
And you're right about that because with Dr. Aquatic coming in, that team did instantly settle. But you guys are trying to change things up as well. In game 3, Smashley came in. But then you had to come back in game 4. So what prompted that decision after the game 3?
Well, I'll be honest, you know, Captain Smashley, you know, took a gamble bringing me in. You know, it's been a long summer, you know, put on a little extra pounds. He made me work out a little bit in the mornings to get ready for the games, and he said I was ready. So I'm glad he put me in, you know, but he just wanted to try and get everybody settled in and focused in game 3. And then, you know, he pulled me off the bench for 4, and I said, all right, coach. So here I was.
On a more serious note, though, Spanky, you did look really, really good out there. I was surprised to not see you continue from game 1 and from game 2. Now, you did talk about potentially not playing as much. So how are you able to keep your high skill level up into this match?
A lot of it is just repetition, like playing a lot at night and getting the mindset of just being chill, not getting too intense about things. I make sure that I'm playing with people that I have fun with. But coming into the fall, I really put in more time to make sure that I'm focusing on some skills that will help me elevate the game, and I'm hoping that I can just contribute a little bit this season.
Nice. So would you say that playing with lower ranked people is helpful for you?
I wouldn't say lower ranked people. That's not really the mindset when I play with friends online. It's a lot more of just, trust. Like, you can do a lot more when you know the people got your back. And if you mess up or they mess up, then you're just going to laugh about it. It's a different game than if you're trying to play solo or with random. So I get to fly when I have people who support me.
Understood. I called you a multi-tool right off the start, and you absolutely lived up to that moniker. You were in the back, you were in the front. My favorite moment from you this series was that beautiful bounce shot you tucked into the top left corner. Was there a better one that I missed?
No, I think that was a pretty good one. Just getting up in the air. That's what the repetition comes down to, having a feel for how to make the minor adjustments when you're moving. And I think it paid off. The upper 90, I didn't see it until the replay, so that was nice. Getting one past is always good.
Beautiful. And the team cohesion, I just have to point out, seemed to work really well with letting Gojo and Toad do their thing, which is, something I've seen from you before off stream. So you definitely were a good hole filler. My mom says thanks. And that's all I got for you, dude. Good games, man. Unfortunate we couldn't take it to game 5 there.
Yeah, that's all right. But, it's a good season, and I think it'll be fun. We're having fun so far.
All right. Anything else, Mr. Maz?
Any final words from you, Spanky? I realize I don't have too much time, so I don't want to hold you back for too long. You have the floor. Go ahead.
I just want to say, thanks to SGL again. I say it every season, but it's a whole lot of fun. It's chill, and it's nice to play with people competitively on and then off. I do want to do a shout out to Smash. Thanks, Coach, for putting me in, and I appreciate you giving me a shot. I hope I didn't screw it up, and I look forward to next time.
Well, thank
All right. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Have a good night. Yeah,
Humble as pie.
So I just want to highlight Spanky once again. Like, he looked absolutely incredible, and I hope we get to see more of it, because he, for me, is a very entertaining player to watch. And I think he can work really well with Gojo and Toad Death, especially with his passing and defensive abilities. Just an incredible player. Now, we do have a second interview coming up. I did mention that we will have the winning side coming in as well. Dr. Aquatic will be coming in next. Just need to make sure that's all set up and good to go.
Man, that series though, ECRC starting off so hot and heavy, and then finding their footing. But man, the locals they were a freight train. It took them a second to get going, and then they just couldn't be stopped. We're about to talk to Aquatic, and that sounds like a good person to be talking to right now, because man, did he I want to know how he felt about that final second goal.
Oh, absolutely. And he is ready to come in right now, so we're gonna bring him in. And welcome aboard, Dr. Aquatic. First question, how are you feeling winning this match after that abhorrent game 1 from you guys?
I mean, it was definitely interesting. I don't think anybody's ever hung up that many goals on us in any game that we played in the past, even when we were in the second division. Not even Cauldron. In Cauldron, when we played them last season, was dominating most of the games. So it was crazy, but I think, Doughboy and Mecha Ducky knew the adjustments that needed to be made, and I think we were very confident that we weren't going to allow 9 goals in a game, and we were going to lock down on defense and make them have to really do something crazy to get a goal.
Dude, speaking of goals, I just need to ask you, that game 5, you blew it. I'm just going to be blunt about it. You blew it. You could have had the game winner before overtime. First thought in my head was, oh no, he did an atomic. Oh man. What were the thoughts running in your head at that moment? And how did you bounce back from that?
I mean, I felt bad as soon as that happened. I apologized to Ducky, and I was like, "Sorry, Ducky, sorry." But I think that was just a product of the style we were trying to play. I feel like when you go against Emerald City, you really gotta put pressure on them, not let them set up their pass plays, let them set their individual plays, not let them feel comfortable. And I felt like I needed to play at 100 miles an hour at all times. Not ever have my car stationary. And I felt like that last miss was a product of that, because I was just trying to play so fast, because I was like, they're really struggling with the pressure. I gotta be on top of things. I can't think. I just gotta go. And unfortunately, that last shot, maybe I should have paused a little bit, but considering that we had turned around the series, I was like, nah, I'm gonna go at 100 miles an hour, and I missed. But the guys were told me it was okay right away, and luckily I was able to get that goal at the end too.
Yeah, it's only fitting that you got the game winner right there at the end, given how impressive you've been throughout this matchup. Now, going back to the game 1, it was a terrible start, and Raid unfortunately was involved in that, and since then he just wasn't able to get back into the matchup. How did he feel after that game 1? Is he suffering from a lack of confidence at this moment?
Probably just a lack of game time. I mean, he has soccer practice, so a lot of the times he's not been able to. I don't think he's been able to get on the first 2 weeks. So, it's tough for him, because you need game time to get the rotation set, and I think definitely and he even said beforehand, that his rotations were probably going to be rusty, and it definitely showed. But Raid, when he's clicking, he's as dangerous as any player in the league. So hopefully with the next upcoming games, he can get some game time in, and we can work on those rotations, because to give credit to Emerald City, Gojo's really good, and he really gave it to us that first game, and Spanky as well, and I'm forgetting the third. Oh, Toad Death. They played really well that game. They came out on fire, and credit to them. You don't put 9 goals on 3 guys that are above the champ level, by not being good yourself. So I think it's a lot of credit to them, and I think Raid will be fine. We'll definitely plug him in games, and I'm sure he'll get his chemistry back up with us.
Absolutely, and let's hope that he can get back into it. Now, I do want to ask you another question before I pass it over to Corn Dog. You guys are still undefeated. You guys are at the top of the table. Did you guys ever see this coming, given the matches that you had to play for the first 3 weeks of the season?
Well, we beat Steel Army last season, I believe, during the regular season. So I think we were confident that as long as we rotated, well, that we would get past the first game. When he played Timber's Army last week, I was a little bit surprised. I thought they, would be a little bit more aggressive, but they kind of had their foot off the gas, and we took advantage. Especially Ducky, he had a series last week. So going into this week, I think we had confidence within our rotation of the 3. But we definitely felt that first game that, we needed attacking prowess, because we thought Gojo was going to light us up, and he did. But, Gojo lighted us up too well. So we definitely had to go to a defensive front with me in there. But, yeah, best case scenario, I thought we were going to go 3-0 the first 3 weeks. And I know we got a few tough matchups coming up. I think we got KC Cauldron next week, and we know that one's going to be really, really tough.
Yeah, that's definitely an agreement from me, but I'm excited to see that matchup. You guys played great tonight. Aquatic, I would say there were 2 different moments. I can't remember the specifics of it right now, but I have 2 tallies next to your name where you did, let's just say, quote, whip it out, and you were where you needed to be most of the time. Now, what I wasn't ready for was for Mecky Ducky to lead the charge and for you guys to sort of sit back. That seemed to be working for you guys. Was there discussion about that, or was it just he just happened to be there?
I think it's just the product of the rotation of chemistry that we've had. I think once the second game started, we were talking about playing more defensive, and I just said, let's just play our rotations, and if someone has to cut the rotation because they have a great opportunity, go for it. But I think me and Doughboy are very understanding that Meki Ducky can definitely make plays and score goals on his own. So if he's gonna feel more comfortable to take risks, with me and Doughboy staying back a little bit more, then that's what we're gonna do. And it felt like they were playing deep at times. So I think we felt comfortable kind of staying back because we weren't necessarily too afraid of being out of position in case a counter hit. And I think, that allowed Ducky. But I mean, Ducky's good. He finds spots. I mean, if he struggled that first game, he played really well after the 6-goal barrage. And I think he just continued that. So, I mean, he's just been on fire, and he knows where to be offensively to give us the best chance to succeed. And we're going to play good defense for him, and he's going to get us a couple goals, and usually that's the recipe for success with us so far this season.
Yeah, and it definitely seemed to work out that way. And I'd just like to point out, after that 6-goal barrage in game 1, you guys led the scoring for the final 3 minutes, 5-3. So definitely got your settle, got your footing. Absolutely felt like when you guys got Emerald City disrupted, you were in control, and it showed up the most there in games 3 and 4 at the end, where it just seemed like Emerald City was just hitting the ball back to you guys, and they didn't really have a response.
No, yeah, I agree. They're playing deep, and we kind of caught that, some way through the second game, and Ducky was very vocal about they're staying back, so we didn't want to give away the ball cheaply. We didn't want to hit the ball on our end and just toss it back to them and let them control the possession. We were trying to make sure we kept the ball at a distance where we could at least get a 50 out of it, and have our rotation catch up, and not be put in an awkward spot. So credit to Ducky for kind of spotting that and kind of letting us know where me and Doughboy should be at. But can we get a shout out to Doughboy, because Doughboy made some clutch saves. He had some clutch goals. Doughboy was having a tough week. He said he was going to install the game based off some performances on his other league, but the man was on fire today, and we couldn't do it without Doughboy. Doughboy's a great captain for the team.
Yeah, hard agree on Doughboy. It was a solid rotation between the three of you, and I absolutely agree with Raid's just out of practice, because I've seen Raid play, and it just felt like he might be off of the stick time. So yeah, huge shout out to Doughboy and Raid. Well played as a team, most importantly, guys. And anything you'd like to say to the people?
I mean, we're gonna continue hopefully to put on great matches, and we have the Cauldron next week, right?
Let me confirm that right now, real quick. Week 4, you guys have Emerald City Defiance.
Oh, we have Defiance.
Yeah, you guys get the Cauldron the week after that, in week 5.
Okay, well, I'm not gonna look ahead to the Cauldron because we're gonna have business to take care of Defiance. So we're gonna keep working on rotations. Hopefully, we can get Raiden next week to work on that chemistry. That way, we have 2 different play styles. But thank you for everybody watching, and thank you to the commentators who always do a great job. I was hearing that first game, and I was just hearing you guys salivating at the fact that 14 goals were scored. I don't think I've ever heard Maz, maybe besides championship games, I don't think I've ever heard Maz that animated for a game that technically was like 5 goals apart.
It's just a shock. It was just a shock, Aquatic. I just didn't think it would happen that quickly,
Yeah, 6 goals, I think, in the first minute and a half will definitely have you thinking that the series is going to go Emerald City's way. But I'm just glad that the boys stuck with the rotations, and I'm glad that I didn't pay the price for messing up 2 goals. I'm lucky the teammates were there to back me up.
Yeah, looking forward as you guys remain undefeated. Got EC Defiance coming up next week. Hopefully that goes in your favor, although that's, my home team, so I hope you lose.
I still appreciate you, corn dog.
Anyways, any final words, Aquatic?
Yeah, he did.
Technically did, but, I will say the one joke we were talking about was, after the first game, I was putting the champagne back in the fridge. I didn't think we are going to be able to break it out tonight, but after game 2, we brought the champagne back. So
Well earned. Well earned. Solid gameplay.
Well, thank you very much, Aquatic. Appreciate your time here. Have yourself a good night.
thank you. You guys have a good night too. Later.
Thank you.
Thank you. Later. All right, let's recap over the results of today's stream, Core Dog. That first matchup between Cauldron and Steel Army, 3-0 to Cauldron as they bounce back in a convincing manner. But then this crazy matchup all around, Emerald City RC versus the Locals. The Locals coming back after a terrible game 1 where they lost by 5 goals and ECRC scored, 13 goals? Just in absolute madness.
Yeah, the game was 13. 9-4.
9-4. Yeah, total goals 13. ECRC had 9. Yeah, true. Thank you. And the Locals were just able to bounce back. And no matter what ECRC tried, the Locals just had the advantage in the midfield. They were preventing a lot of those passes from being played out. With that said, there were some of those good passes being played out, but ECRC just didn't have the finishing boots after game 1. Still, really good matchup for both sides. And what an incredible way to end the stream, Core Dog.
Yeah, I couldn't be happier with the result of this, minus a game 5 potentially. The Locals absolutely earned their win against Emerald City. And Steel Army's scoreline, that 3-0, not really indicative of the gameplay. Steel Army had a chance there. They just couldn't quite keep it together. They looked like Emerald City in the last couple of games. So, it was obviously well-deserved win from KC, well-deserved win from Locals. And the only thing that could have made me happier would be game 5.
Oh, absolutely. And I think with Steel Army in particular, I just want to say, you're right, they have looked good in this matchup. But the problem is, because of their bad start to the season, they just haven't been getting enough of those points. It's a good time to take a look at the updated league table, folks, as we go right in to the updated standings at this time. And as you can see, the Locals are at the top with 3 wins out of 3. They, along with Black Army and El Matador, are the only teams that have not lost a matchup. And the next matchup will involve the other 2 undefeated sides of Black Army and El Matador. So no matter what, the Locals will be the only team that is undefeated at the end of week 3. And with that convincing win, KC Cauldron are now up in second, above Emerald City RC on games 1 percentage. Core Dog, as disappointing a loss that they had last week, KC Cauldron are already back in it, and they're in second now with that convincing sweep.
Oh, yeah, and, not pointing out what was said in the chat there, but Serrano absolutely heavily involved in that. He was everywhere. The ball never got past him. Serrano, if you didn't hear the games, you might want to go back and listen to him, because you were absolutely getting praised that whole series, so much love for you there.
Oh yeah, we both were waxing lyrical about you, Serrano. I will acknowledge, and I will be a bit more honest about this. You still had moments where I felt like you could have been better, but I think that's just the rustiness. I'm not sure how much you've played recently, but I'm sure when you get back into this game more and more, you'll get way, way better. Joyo? Okay, Serrano, come on. Hey, you will bounce back like Joyo, that's for sure. Just going back to the rest of the table, though. I mean, Black Army, they're the only other undefeated side, along with the Locals, El Matador. The final matchup of the week will involve Black Army and El Matador. And if Black Army wins, they'll be up there at the top of the table with the Locals. They might even get first place if they get the sweep. And to round off the rest of the table, Core Dog, we have Los Verdes and Timbers Army in 5th and 6th, with the Rebellion right there, right beside them. And Emerald City Blue with their win against Los Verdes. They're back in it as well. And we'll see if they can keep this up, because they might be able to sneak into 6th as well. And then finally, we have Steel Army and EC Defiance with 2 and 1 points respectively. Both sides that have been looking better and better, but because of their tough start to the season, they're at the bottom of the table for now.
Yeah, and it's still early, like you mentioned earlier. There could be a massive swing. Scheduling or matchups from the beginning of the season could be hindering some teams, could be helping some teams, but that'll all come out in the wash as we get closer to the end.
Indeed, and folks, speaking of the end, that about wraps it up for our stream. Thank you very much for watching both these matchups. We had a good time with you all. Got some good gameplay, a lot of good moments, and some crazy results too. What more can you ask for from SGL? I was entertained. I hope you all were as well. And Core Dog, I hope you had a good time with me over here. Thank you very much for commentating tonight with
Anytime.
me.
Yeah.
Folks, that about wraps it up. We are done with the stream. Have a good night, and we will catch you next time, hopefully for the final match of Week 3. Peace!